So, who all were not in the class yesterday? I think Milana was not there and Lux was not there as well in the level 2 class. So now Lux, you have to decide which class you want to join regularly, because if you keep switching between the two classes, you will know something and you will miss something as well. Okay, so I would suggest you start joining level 2 classes more regularly. I'm sorry, sir?
I'm going to 6th grade this year, so
yeah, so here I have to make sure that you're joining level 2 classes only, because we covered something in the class yesterday and I'm sure that will be new to you. So that is why Milana was not there, Ariyahi was also not there yesterday, and Lux was not there too. So let me give you guys a surprise by forcing you guys to solve some problems, and then we will see how you guys are approaching the problem. Okay. Asamita. So I will give you guys some problems which will look very easy, but it has some hidden concepts in it. So this is one right angle triangle. This is another right angle triangle. So right angle triangle, as you know, this is 5 centimeter. I'm not giving the unit, okay? Let me say this is 5 and this is 7. I want you to find out this length and the area of this right angle triangle. This is more like a jump start. You guys will be very comfortable doing it. And then I'm saying this is 8 centimeter. This one is 30 centimeters, 30 degrees. And I'm asking you guys to find out the area of this triangle also. And I can only help that I can offer you is, I will say sine 30 degree equal to 0.5, cosine 30 degree equal to 0.8, and tangent 30 degree equal to 0.62. Okay. So here comes Manasvi also. Manasvi, welcome back. No. So, I mean, it's actually for you guys to welcome me back. It was me who was away. You guys were all here. But these are the two right angle triangles we have, and I want you guys to find out the area of this triangle and area of this triangle. For this triangle, I have this as 5, this as 7. I have not given any units here. Let me not give any units. You can assume unit. If you like centimeter, you will use centimeter. If you like millimeter, you will use millimeter. If you like miles, you will use miles. Up to you guys. So find out the area of this triangle. And this is another right angle triangle where I am giving you only one side as 8 and giving you angle as 30 degree. And then I am giving you value of sine 30 equal to 0.5, cos 30 equal to 0.8, and tan 30 equal to 0.62. And I want you to find out the area of this triangle also. So I want you to find out the area of this triangle as well as length of this side and length of this side. Yes, Arav. So that is why. So I am actually, see, when I am teaching you guys, I am also learning things for myself. I am first giving you guys a situation This is a right angle triangle. I'm giving you this length as 7 and this length is 5. And ask you to find out the area of this triangle. And you guys know how to find out the area of a triangle, right? And then I'm giving you only one side and one angle and giving you some random values, and I'm asking you to find out the area of this triangle based on that. So this is more like a teaser. I'm making you guys think. You'll be able to solve this one, and some of you might get stuck here. Whoever was not in the class yesterday will get stuck here. And that is done on purpose. Okay? I want you guys to get stuck, and then I will get you guys exposed to a concept that will help you solve this problem. Okay? So so don't feel bad about not knowing something. It's not about not knowing something. It's about knowing why we need to know this. Okay? Yes, Arav, you have raised your hand. Right side of the board. I always thought right is always right, but that's not the case. Can you see it now? I had to rewrite the whole thing if I was using the old board. But those days are gone. I can move it. Can you see it now? If you cannot see it, can you see it now? Okay. So what I want you guys to do is go step by step. First find out the area of this triangle and tell me how much is that. And then find out the area of this triangle. Find out the two sides and then area of this triangle. And you guys have only 5 minutes. Not 5 minutes. I'll give you guys 2 minutes more. 7 minutes. Let's see who all are able to do it and who all are not able to do it. That's fine. I will explain. Anyways. Yes, Laksh.
I'm not able to do the second one with a 30-degree, with a 0 or 30-degree angle, but I think the first one I got 17.5 centimeters squared.
17.5 centimeters squared. Okay. Yeah, 7 5 is 35 divided by 2. Yeah. Half into base into height. And can you find out the side's length? You cannot?
I haven't found it yet. I'm finding it out.
Yeah, just find it out. I'm saying whatever you can find out, try finding it out, and then we'll come to this problem. Manasvi, do you know how to find out this one? I'm sorry? Your voice is not coming out clear. Say it one more time. Both. So if you can find out all the sides, then you can find out the area in any which way. Yeah. So try finding it out. Advik and Arav should be able to give it a try for sure because they were in the class with me yesterday. Samhita should also be able to give it a try for sure. So I will give them 5 minutes. Okay? Let's not try solving the first one. Only message I was trying to convey was if I have a right angle triangle where I have 2 sides known to me, I can find out the third side by using the Pythagorean theorem. And then this is the base and this is the height. I can find out the area of this guy. So this part is okay. So don't spend time on finding it out. Lux has already found this. I want you guys to give it a try for next 2-3 minutes, and then after that I will jump onto it. Okay? Nihal, you should be able to try it as well because you were there with me in the class as well yesterday. So give it a try. Yes, Arav.
The first triangle I thought was curvy 4.816. So that's the hypotenuse.
Okay. Now focus on this one. I'm more interested in this one actually. That's my agenda for today. So Advik, Arav and Samhita and Nihal, since you 4 were there in the class yesterday, I will certainly assume you guys to be able to make some good progress on this one before I start solving this by 5:20 p.m. It's 5:16 right now, so I'm giving you guys 4 minutes. Samhita, are you able to try it out? Okay. And everybody keep your videos on. I know Nihan said that his video doesn't work. Everybody else has to keep their videos on for sure. I want to see your expression when you are able to solve it versus when you are not able to solve it. See, sometimes you might feel that I'm a crooked teacher who enjoys seeing the kids stressed out. Okay, give it a try. I will just go and get a medicine and come back. In 3 minutes I will get one word. And for Ariyahi, Milana and everybody, you know that if you know base and height, you'll be able to find out the area. You only know the base, you don't know how to find out the height. Just see if you have some creative ways to find out this height based on the information you have here. If you don't worry, you'll find out. Okay? Think out of the box for a little bit. I'll be back in 2 minutes. Yes, Adli, what did you get?
So for side A, I got 6. For side B, I got 8. And for side C, I got 10.
So you got this is 6. Oops. You got this as 6 and you got this as 10.
Yeah.
So now finding area would not be a big deal. Yeah? Okay. So, Sangeeta, did you get the same thing?
I got the hypotenuse as 9.24 and then the opposite side as 4.62.
6 point?
4.62.
4.62.
Yeah.
Okay. So I know what Advik did. Advik made a smart move. He used something called Pythagorean triplet. Yeah. But it was not supposed to be based on that. So I will not try solving this. I will not try validating this without giving that information on the trig ratios to everybody. Okay. So Hiranya, you were there in class yesterday, right? Yeah, I think Hiranya was there. Yes, I remember. So I'm just trying to make sure that whoever was in the class yesterday was clear about the concepts. Sangeeta, did you use the trig ratios to derive these values or use?
Yeah.
Okay. So, can I request everybody to keep their videos on? Except Nihan. Nihan has an excuse, but everybody else keep their video on. Okay? Wonderful. Okay. So, here's the thing. I was asking you guys to I have only given one side as 8 and this side was not given. This is a question mark, not 22. Okay? And this side was also not given. And I was saying that this angle is 30 degree. Find out the area of this triangle. And the most basic formula that we all know for area of a triangle is half into base into height. What we know is the base, we don't know the height. And is there a way I can find out the height? This is where, are you there? I cannot see you. Okay, maybe Arya's name got hidden between the cluster of names. Okay. So everybody can see the screen, right? Can I assume that everybody is paying attention to what I'm doing? Okay. So here, in this situation, our first goal was to find out this side's length. And we were not having any clue. With this information, we had no clue. So that is where, again, I'm not trying to rush to teach you guys trigonometry. I'm just giving you guys the basic knowledge of trigonometry which will help you to relate to these concepts. If you know two sides, you can apply Pythagorean theorem to find out the third side. A square plus b square equal to c square. That formula that you all know. But if you, so basically you know the relationship between the sides. Trigonometry helps us to find out the relationship between the sides and the angles between them. So, and that summary of that understanding, or the beginning of that understanding of trigonometry relies on this one formula, one acronym called SOHCAHTOA. There are three trigonometric ratios. They are called sine, cosine, and tangent. And there are more to it. Okay? These are the three basic ones. Okay? Sine, cosine, and tangent. These are just ratios. Okay?
Wait, what's the last one?
Tangent. You would have heard tangent. Tangent.
Okay.
You would have heard people say, okay, you said something that went tangent. That's more like what you call. It's a sarcastic remark which means that something went over my head. But we are not talking about that tangent. We are talking about sine, cosine, and tangent as three ratios of the sides. Or the short form of that is called sine, cos, and tan. Okay? So we don't write sine, cosine, and tangent in the full form. We write this as sine, cos, and tan. Now, this is what gives us the ability to relate the sides and the angles using this acronym SOHCAHTOA, where S stands for sine, C stands for cosine, and T stands for tangent. Now if you read this, sine of an angle, let's say this angle is theta. I'm not saying 30 degree angle, now I'm saying this is theta. Theta is a name, like A, B, C, D, right? And there is one more child who was supposed to join today. She is not there, but it's okay. Sine, cosine, and tangent, sine, cos, and tan. These are three ratios which are based on this acronym that you see, which says, so sine of an angle is equal to opposite side. So if this is my angle, the opposite side is this one. Let's say this one is A. This one is A. This one is B, and this one is C. So sine of an angle, this is my angle theta, is equal to opposite side divided by hypotenuse. Hypotenuse is the angle, a side opposite to the 90-degree angle. So this C is nothing but the hypotenuse in the right angle triangle. So sine of an angle theta is equal to opposite side A divided by hypotenuse, which is C. Similarly, when you go to cosine of an angle theta is equal to adjacent side. A stands for adjacent, H for hypotenuse again. So cosine of an angle is adjacent side. So this is the adjacent side, this is the opposite side for this angle. Adjacent side is B divided by hypotenuse, that is C. And tangent of an angle theta is equal to opposite side by adjacent side. So O stands for opposite, H for hypotenuse, A for adjacent, H for hypotenuse, O for opposite, A for adjacent. So now if you look at it, SOHCAHTOA, this tells you how do you define your trig ratios, sine, cosine and tangent. Sine of an angle is equal to opposite side, here in this case opposite side was A and adjacent side was B. So sine of an angle is opposite side by hypotenuse, A over hypotenuse C. Cosine of an angle is adjacent side B divided by hypotenuse. Tangent of an angle theta is opposite side A divided by adjacent side, that is B. So SOHCAHTOA, when we talk about, it is just a short form to remember how these ratios are defined. Does it make sense? SOHCAHTOA, sine, cosine and tangent, which is nothing but the trig ratios. And trig ratios are nothing but, it tells you the relationship between the angle and the sides. Okay? Like Biren is a teacher, sine. Milana is a student, let's say cosine. Advik is a student, tangent. And how you describe Biren, Milana and Advik? Biren is described by opposite side by hypotenuse. Milana is described as a adjacent side by hypotenuse. And Advik is tangent, is described as opposite side by adjacent side. Okay? These are three ratios, right? Is that okay? Hiranya, Laksh, Manasvi, Aryani. Arya did not say anything. Arya, clear beta or not clear? I could not hear you. I see that you are trying to say something, but your voice is not coming through. Okay, I will come back to Arya again. Yes, Laksh, go ahead. Right, okay. So everybody who was having tiniest of the doubt, just pay attention to what I am saying one more time. Okay? SOHCAHTOA is your formula for memorizing it or relating it. Okay? Which says how to describe sine, cosine and tangent of any angle. Sine, so is describing the sine part of it. Ka is describing the cosine part of it. Toa is describing the tangent part of it. Now so is sine of an, the way you will read this is sine of an angle is equal to opposite side of the angle divided by hypotenuse. So this is my angle. Let's say I'm looking at this angle right now. If I look at this angle, then my opposite side will be this one, adjacent side will be this one. If since I'm looking at this angle, opposite side is this one. Yep. So sine of an angle is equal to sine of an angle. So that's what I'm saying, sine of theta. Sine of this angle theta is equal to opposite side. So the side opposite to this angle, which is A here in this triangle, divided by hypotenuse. What is hypotenuse? Hypotenuse is the side opposite to the 90 degree. Yeah. So sine of an angle is opposite side by hypotenuse. So in this case, sine of this theta is opposite side A divided by hypotenuse C. Carl says cosine of an angle, the way you will read this as cosine of an angle will be equal to adjacent side divided by hypotenuse. So cosine of angle theta is equal to adjacent side. For this theta, this is opposite side and this is the side adjacent to it. So B over hypotenuse, B over C. The way you will read the third part of this is 2 tangent of an angle is equal to opposite side divided by adjacent side. So tangent of theta is equal to opposite side divided by adjacent side. Yeah? Make sense?
Yeah.
Everybody okay? Are now okay? Your voice is not coming through, maybe some problem with the mic, but you can text me at least to acknowledge or confirm me whether you are comfortable with what I said or not. Okay, good. Now you guys will be thinking that why am I actually giving all these things here when our problem was much simpler. We had just had to find an area of the triangle, right? So area of the triangle, if you see here, I have given some information here. Sine 30 degree, cos 30 degree, tan 30 degree, and I have given this angle as 30 degrees. So we have some ways to relate to it. But before I go there, I want you guys to become so very comfortable with this. That is, if you ever have an angle, somebody says, okay, find the sine of the angle, okay, opposite side by hypotenuse. Cos of that angle, adjacent side by hypotenuse. Tan of that angle, opposite side by adjacent side. Okay. Sine is opposite by hypotenuse, cos is adjacent by hypotenuse, tan of the angle is opposite side by adjacent side. I want this to become like ABCD. Okay. I'm not talking about ABCD as in the slang that people use for people with our origin. I'm talking about ABCD as in alphabets. Okay. So here, sine of an angle is opposite side by hypotenuse, cosine of the angle is adjacent side by hypotenuse, tangent of the angle is opposite side by adjacent side. If you take this angle, then sine of this angle will be opposite side, this one by hypotenuse, cosine of this angle will be adjacent side by hypotenuse, tangent of this angle will be opposite side, this divided by hypotenuse. Yep. Clear? Easy? Now let's go back to this one. Here, we know this side as 8, we don't know this side. I mean, Samrita and Ajit had given some answers for this one, but for the sake of simplicity, I will for now assume that we don't know this. We'll see how this information or SOHCAHTOA is helping us here. Let's say this one is not known, I will give it a name A and give this guy a name C. Now, what we know is sine of 30 degree equal to 0.5. And what that point sine 30 is, based on our knowledge of SOHCAHTOA, sine of 30 will be opposite side by hypotenuse, A over C. So from this we got A by C equal to 0.5. Okay, this is one information we have got. I am circling this so that we can come back to this. A over C equal to 0.5. This is one information we could get by using sin 30 degree. Okay, let's go to cos 30 degree. Cos 30 degree. Cos of this angle is adjacent side by hypotenuse. So adjacent side is 8. Cos 30 degree, adjacent side which is 8 divided by hypotenuse which is C. So if I take this out here, 0.8 equal to 8 over C. This is the second information we got, the green one. From this, can we find out the value of C? 0.8 equal to 8 by C, that means C will be equal to 8 divided by 0.8. Yeah? Yes or no? Again, look at this. We had this angle known to us, we had this side known to us, and we had these values given to us. Sin 30 equal to 0.5, cos 30 equal to 0.8, tan 30 equal to 0.62. These are absolute values given to us. Now we are saying, okay, since we know a little bit of SOHCAHTOA, let's see what is happening here. Sin 30 is given as 0.5. Sin of 30 degree is given as 0.5. So we know this value. But what is sin 30? Sin 30 is nothing but opposite side divided by hypotenuse. So A over C equal to sin 30, which is for which we have a value 0.5. So this is one information. Similarly, cos 30 is given as 0.8 in the question itself. What is cos 30 here? Cos 30 is adjacent side by hypotenuse. So cos 30, which is 0.8, is equal to adjacent side, which is 8 divided by C. So from that we can find out the value of C. Yeah. Arav, Nihan, Manasvi, Sangita, are you guys okay? How about Hiranya? Yes, Manasvi?
I just understand.
Yeah, okay. So, it's a question for Sangita. Sangita, are you with me? I mean, are you convinced about whatever I am doing so far? Okay. Ariyahai, how about you, Peter? Okay? Not okay? Okay. How about Milana and Hiranya? Makes sense? Okay. How about Hiranya? Hiranya, are you with us so far? Okay. So here, from this we got C 0.8 equal to 8 by C. That means C equal to 8 by 0.8. And from this we got C equal to, this will be equal to 10. Yeah? 8 over 0.8 will give me value of 10, right? I mean. So we got the length of this side as 10 now. So wherever I had C, I can replace that by 10. So here A will be equal to A by C, that is 10, is equal to 0.5. So A will be equal to 0.5 into 10, which will be equal to 5. So this A is nothing but 5. 10 times 0.5, that will be 5. So now Hiranya and not Hiranya, Sangita and Arjit, you guys have given me answers. Do you guys agree with these answers or you don't? I mean, whatever I have done so far, is this looking convincing or not really? Okay, now there was a little bit of problem with this question also. Okay? You guys might challenge me with saying that okay, this is not satisfying the Pythagorean theorem. 5 square plus 8 square is not equal to 10 square. And then I agree because I had just cooked up some value for this. Okay? This is not absolute value for this. I had just given some approximate value. Okay? That's why it's not satisfying the Pythagorean theorem. When you have a question like this, you will have the exact value which will satisfy the Pythagorean theorem also. Okay? Yes, Abhijit, you have raised your hand.
I was gonna say they didn't match up with that.
Yeah. Yeah, that is because I had cooked up these values, right? So I was just trying to. Okay, okay. So what I was trying to do here was that I was trying to say that okay, if you have these ratios given to you, it will help you derive the sides by applying the SOHCAHTOA concepts. So now if you bundle these two information together, what is happening here is when you had a situation, where did that go? Okay. When you had a situation like this, when you had two sides known to you, finding out third side was with the help of Pythagorean theorem. When you had only one side and angle known to you, you could use the SOHCAHTOA or the basics of trigonometry. There's a lot more and a lot more interesting concepts that we will learn. Okay? Trigonometry is a very interesting subject by itself. I mean, I brag about every topic of math the same way because I like them all. But trigonometry also has very nice, interesting concepts. It creates a lot of excitement. Once you start loving the subject, you will find a lot more fun. So here, when we were looking at only sides, we were constrained. And our knowledge was half cooked because we were not relating the sides with the angles. And sides and angles are very tightly coupled. That is what SOHCAHTOA or the trigonometry helps us decode. It helps us establish the relationship between the sides and the angles. And that is why you could see that, okay, see, imagine a situation 1 hour ago. If anybody would have given you a triangle, except for people like Advik, Arav, Samrita, Hiranya and Nihar, who had attended this class yesterday, so for them this story was a little older. But for you guys who are seeing this concept for the first time, if anybody would have given you saying, find out the area of this right angle triangle, I am giving you this side as 3 centimeter and giving you this angle as 20 degree. And I am giving you the value of sine, cosine and tangent, find out the area of the triangle. You would have started thinking that this guy has not eaten for last 4 days. That's why his brain is not working and is giving a problem to solve which has no solution to it. Yeah. But actually, this is a valid problem. And this is where the extension of your knowledge by going to SOHCAHTOA or basics of trigonometry actually helps you find out something more which was very unreal before. Yeah. So these are complementing each other. Okay? So trigonometry, if you see, trigonometry is not a new subject by itself. It is an extension of what we know in geometry. Okay. That's how you treat it. Yeah. Does it sound okay or not really? How about Hiranya, Nihan, Samrita? Okay. So we had learned a few more things yesterday with SOHCAHTOA part of it. So you guys saw why we need to learn trigonometry, how it helps you relate concepts of how it helps you go beyond what you know in geometry and then deal with interesting stuff. You will see that there are interesting problems that will come across. Okay? There's interesting situations that will come across. Something like yesterday we talked about this, that sine square theta plus cos square theta equal to 1. But I know you have told me 5 minutes ago, you can carry on. But make sure that you watch the video to catch up on whatever we cover up in this. Sin square theta plus cos square theta equal to 1. Or in other words, if I say sin square 10 degree plus sin square, plus cos square 10 degree, it will be 1. If I go a little bit more crazy and say okay, sin square 89 degree plus cos square 89 degree, this will also be equal to 1. I am still wanting to waste more time. I am saying sin square 360 degree plus cos square 360 degree equal to 1. You will say a right angle triangle doesn't have any angle more than 90 degree. How come you are talking about 360 degree? So these things we will learn. We will see where those angles or how the sine, cosine and tangent of larger angles are derived. Those things you guys will learn. Grow up a little bit more, okay? Don't rush. We'll talk about these things when you guys are in high school, when you're dealing with more interesting, deep concepts. We'll learn a lot more things, okay? But here, if I'm assuming that we are limited to only 90 degree angle or a right angle triangle only, still this sin square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. Because here, this theta is a variable still. We are not saying whether theta is 10 degree, 15 degree, 18 degree. Any value of theta, sin square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. And I am saying that this is true for every angle. Let's see if this is the case or not. Here you got sin theta equal to a by c. I am just referring to the same triangle. So sin theta is a by c. So sin square theta will be equal to a by c whole square. Cos theta is b by c. Cos square theta will be b by c square. And you will see that it is a square, a by c whole square is a square by c square, b by c whole square is b square by c square. So if you add them, you have a common denominator, so this becomes a square plus b square. Now, if you go back to your right angle triangle concepts, if this is a, this is b and this is c, Pythagorean theorem has already told us a square plus b square equal to c square. I was not referring to this one because I had made it look clumsy, but this is a, this is b and this is c, from which we had found out this thing. So a square plus b square is equal to c square as per Pythagorean theorem. So wherever you have a square plus b square, you can happily replace that with c square, which is nothing but 1. This is a universal formula. So tomorrow if you know sine of 30 degree, you can find out the value of cosine of 30 degree also. Now you guys can find out the mistake in my problem. This problem that I have given you guys, where I have given you the value of sine 30 degree is 0.5, cosine 30 degree is 0.8. Let's see whether this was correct or not. Sin square theta plus cos square theta equal to 1. We just saw that. So sin square theta, sin 30 degree square, 0.5 square plus cosine 30 degree. Let's say we don't know that. Let's say that is x. So plus x square equal to 1. Or 0.5 square will become 0.25 plus x square equal to 1, or x square equal to 1 minus 0.25, which is x square equal to 1 minus 0.25 is 0.75. X will be equal to square root of 0.75, or x will be equal to square root of 75 by 100. 75 is not a perfect square. 8 8 is 64, 9 9 is 81. So 8 8 is 64. So it will be somewhere around, let's say 8.5. 8.5 square gives me 75, and this is 10 square. So x is equal to 8.5 by 10. when I do a square root of that, or x is equal to 0.85, approximately 0.85. What I have given is 0.8. So that small difference that you see here in the value I have given is causing this to go wrong as a Pythagorean theorem, like what Agit was pointing at, right? So what I am trying to say here is there are a lot of derived concepts. We just know what is so-called the base trig ratios and what are the value of those trig ratios. How do you relate the sides with those angles as sine, cosine and tangent. But there are a lot more derived concepts that we will learn, we will use, and that will enrich our knowledge of this. But only thing that I want to tell you guys is there are 3 more trig ratios apart from sine, cosine and tangent that we know. Opposite of sine is called cosec. This is opposite of, so cosec theta is opposite of sine theta. So if you have got sine theta is equal to a by c, cosec theta will be c by a, just reverse of that. Opposite of cos is called sec theta, secant. Sec theta is 1 by cos. So if your cos theta is b by c, 1 by cos will be reverse of that, c by b. Opposite of tan is called cot theta, which is equal to 1 by tan theta. So if your tan theta is a by b, cot theta will be equal to b by a. So these are other 3 trig ratios which are an extension of sine, cosine and tangent that we know. Opposite of sine is cosec, opposite of cos is sec, and opposite of tan is cot. And there are more ratios that you will come across. And I am not rushing for it, because if I do that, it will make it overwhelming and stressful for you guys right now. We would eat as much we can digest, right? And I certainly don't want you guys to grow up fast, or I don't want you guys to grow up old fast. So enjoy every stage of learning, so that when you come to the right stage, you are actually mentally prepared for it. So that's why I'm not rushing for it. If you look at the summarization part of it, let's look at this as a journey so far. We learned basics of algebra, we learned basics of geometry, where we talked about all different shapes, simple shapes, triangles, rectangles, all different quadrilaterals, circles. Then we learned a little bit of 3D objects, where we learned how to find out the volume and surface area of shapes like cylinders, cylinders, cones, cuboids, cubes, things like that. Then we said, okay, fine. Now we learn how to find out the area of triangles or rectangles or different things. How do we relate the sides among the triangles? We learned Pythagorean theorem. Then we learned things like congruence of shapes or similarity of shapes. That is where we went the extra mile. Now we say, okay, fine, we know sides, we know angles. What is the correlation between them? That is where we got exposed to this one, which got us introduced to trigonometry, basics of trigonometry. And this journey will continue. We will keep on learning more things, we will keep on enriching our knowledge. But my recommendation to you guys would be always, see, I don't do much of preparation before the class. What I do is, I keep on stitching elements of my story. Okay, we have learned this part, what is next? Okay, this one. And then put the things together. So, I want you guys also to start thinking like you are building a story for yourself. Okay? It's like mommy making the curry. She knows, okay, I need to put these ingredients, then the spices, then I have to start cooking. This one goes first, then the next thing. Likewise, right? So, here also we are creating the recipe for our math journey, right? Different ingredients we are putting together to make it a complete package for ourselves. So if you keep on accumulating that knowledge, keep thinking that okay, why are we learning this? How are we relating to these things? It'll make more sense actually. It will stay with you guys much longer. I mean, if anybody invites me to give a speech on math, I can talk about math for 2 hours without doing any preparation actually, because I'm building my own story. Same way, when you guys learn it, always try convincing yourself first that why are you learning this? How would it help? What is the purpose? Why my existing knowledge is not sufficient? So when you start thinking those things, it will actually make you much more comfortable, much more connected to the subject actually. Okay? So I don't want to give any further speech on this one, though I get tempted to, but I am not. So with that being said, I'll let you guys go, enjoy the rest of the evening, and keep enjoying your summer break.
Bye, sir.
Alright, have fun.
Bye.
Bye.